Someone's being loud, wrong, and stupid on the internet again. So, I'm gonna rant about it. Alright guys, what's up? It's Chris here, MTR Network. I'm tired as shit. I literally just got home, changed my clothes. That's all I've been able to do so far. And I'm here. I had no intention of doing a video or doing a rant because this is what this is about to be. It's about to be a rant. I had no intention of doing that. I actually had some Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. videos to work on, and I had another interview videos to work on, and some DCEU stuff I was going to work on too. But I came across something before I left work, and I was going to actually do this as a car rant, but it gets too dark at night, and you guys wouldn't be able to see me. And I want you guys to see the anger on my face as I do this. So I'm going to read this. I'm hoping that when I edit this, you guys will actually be able to see the actual image. I'll describe it right now. It's something I came across on Instagram. And it's a picture of Wonder Woman from the Flashpoint animated series. And this person, Batman Can See You, at Batman Can See You. I think it might be a Twitter name. And they just posted this on Instagram. It says, I think the problem with critics and general audience is they think comic book movies are supposed to be childish and funny. They don't know how adult and violent DC animated movies and comics, video games are. This is quite possibly the dumbest excuse I've seen people making for why Justice League isn't resonating with people so far. This is by far the dumbest one, and it's one that I've seen a lot of. It basically boils down to the whole argument over R-rated movies at this point, and I think it's the dumbest argument in the world. But first, before I get too far into this one, the first question I have is, who the fuck is the general audience? I keep seeing people say this and use this excuse of, oh, well, the general audiences don't know, they're not real comic book fans, they're not really... Who the fuck... When we're talking about Justice League and these icons, who the fuck is the general audience? People who don't read comic books? Okay. Here's the thing. Jackasses, most people do not read comic books. As comic book readers, we are in, like, probably the 1% of, like, people on this earth. Alright? But if you go out right now, I could go out right now and ask 100 people to name at least 5 members of the Justice League, and I guarantee you they could do it. Why? Because the general audience knows who the fuck the Justice League is. Everybody fucking knows. You guys are acting like the Justice League is like some unknown group of characters like the Guardians of the Galaxy in 2013. Yeah, in 2013, nobody knew who the fuck the Guardians of the Galaxy were. But the Justice League? Motherfucker, what are you talking about? Who the fuck doesn't know who Batman is? Who the fuck doesn't know who Superman is? You ask people, hey, where's Superman from? They're gonna fucking tell you. They know. These characters have been around for fucking ages. Who the fuck is the general audience? Who are you talking about with this kind of shit? The general audiences don't know. What are you talking about? That's number one. Number two is this idea that somehow DC or any of these comic book characters need to be dark and gritty. And that's what comics are. Since when? Yo, think back to when if you're this, well-known and well-read comic book person, think back to when you first fell in love with some of these characters. And I dare you to fucking tell me it was a dark and gritty version. And if it was, I'm telling you right now, you're part of that general audience who doesn't know the characters you're complaining about. This is fucking stupid. Listen, I actually liked the Flashpoint animated movie. And at that time, it was one of the most violent anime movies we've ever seen. I actually enjoyed it. I enjoy sometimes seeing these darker, grittier adult versions of these characters. I do. I enjoy it. I even know that in the comic books, Especially today, some of these storylines get a little more adult, they get a little more gritty. But the thing that pisses me off when I see people, when I see adults, let's just keep it real. When I see adults, grown ass people, mostly grown ass men, complaining that these comic books aren't adult enough, I want to stop in your face. When you follow all these characters, I guarantee you are a young kid wearing fucking Superman tighty whities because that's what the character was to you. It wasn't some dark and gritty, I'm gonna stick my fist through Joker's chest Superman. That was not your Superman growing up. It wasn't. I know it wasn't mine. I never collected, growing up, I was a Marvel guy, so I never really collected DC comics. But I knew enough about the DC characters because they were all around me. My first introduction to Batman was watching Adam West's Batman on reruns in my grandmother's hair shop on TV Land. I watched Linda Carter as fucking Wonder Woman. I've seen every single Christopher Reeves fucking Superman. Yes, I talk shit about the movies all the time because I've gotten older and they're so campy and they're so cheesy. But you know what? They're part of my childhood. I grew up on that shit. They're the reason why I know Superman. They're the reason why I know Batman. The reason why I know Wonder Woman. They're the reason why I went then and started reading their comic books. Those are the reasons why. Let's say you never watched those. Let's say you never watched the live action TV stuff. It was too campy for you. You know what you probably did? You probably watched the fucking cartoons. I had this argument. It's not just DC. I had this argument with people about Wolverine. People were telling me, oh, Wolverine has to be an R-rated character. I grew up watching the animated X-Men TV series. Wolverine at no point cut anybody's goddamn head off. There was no blood. I'm not even sure he fully stabbed anybody, to be perfectly honest with you. I also grew up watching the animated Spider-Man film, Spider-Man cartoon. I know for a fact Spider-Man couldn't punch anybody. There were some crazy rules with Spider-Man, like he couldn't punch anybody with a closed fist. He couldn't jump through broken glass. Like it was crazy. I still love those things. Those are things that drove me even further to watching, to reading the comic books. I actually remember I wanted to get X-Men #1. The hot, sold the most copies. Like it's been like 8 million copies of X-Men #1 sold in like 1992. I wanted to get that comic book, but my mom wouldn't let me because she thought it looked too violent just off the cover. I think I know exactly what it was. It was like at one of the covers I think had Gambit on it. I think he had his bow staff, and she was like, "Oh, it looks too violent. You can't have it." The way I was able to get my mom to let me buy X-Men comics was because the X-Men animated show, an animated cartoon, was on Fox every morning, and I would sit there and I'd watch it with my dad, and eventually it softened my mom enough to be like, okay, you can go ahead and get those comic books. That was my entry level into, and yeah, sure. As I read them, I could find more and more adult versions of these comics. I found more grittier versions of these comics, but like it was the kidified version that allowed me to be able to go on from there. And you selfish assholes are so pressed to get these adult versions, you literally want to wipe out this idea that, there's a new generation of kids who want to actually learn these characters. You want to know why the MCU makes $1 billion and why it makes all these films make so much money? It's because they have the comedy and they're lighthearted. And you know what? They draw kids in. Families and parents feel like they can bring their kids to watch these films. And you know what happened? The kid comes in, they read the films, they learn the character. You know what they want to do now? They want to buy the comics. And then they can get the more adult stories. But you guys want to jump right in with these R-rated, gritty versions. Listen, Flashpoint only works because we know the real version of the characters. Because we know the characters that give us hope. That's the whole thing about Flashpoint. Flashpoint is basically just showing us a dystopian future that exists because none of the heroes that give us hope exist. That's why Flashpoint works. You can't just jump in with Flashpoint. You can't just jump in with the gritty shit. You can't do it. Thomas Wayne's Batman, it's to show us what happens when instead of a kid having to grow up and live up and trying to, and who lost his parents, but is trying to live into the shadow of his great parents. It shows what happens when instead it's the kid that dies and the parents lose hope and become these really dark, hopeless people. That's what that is. Flashpoint shows what happened when Superman doesn't land in America and isn't treated and grown up in an all-American family and become, you know, the American way and basically the immigrant story. It shows what happens when that doesn't happen. It shows what happens when Wonder Woman becomes basically a warlord. All of that stuff only works if we know what the original versions are. If we know that these characters represent hope. You need to do that fucking first. You can't just jump in with the dark and gritty and then complain that the general audiences... No, the general audiences are right. The general audiences want to come in, they want to watch a film, and they want to go, hey, where's my Batman? Where's my Wonder Woman? Where's my Superman? They're the right ones. You're the ones that are picking these characters, these dark and gritty characters that are from things like Injustice, from a fucking video game. That's not the version of the character. That's not the well-known version of the character, guys. It's not. It's not. It just isn't. You don't need to have these dark and gritty versions of characters to represent the character. Like, you're literally proving that you have no fucking idea what makes these characters heroes. And you have the audacity to sit there and throw shade and at the general audiences as if they don't know. No, general audiences know what the fuck these characters are. Seems like you don't. The Batman cartoon animated series is one of the best animated series of all time. All right? That wasn't the Batman that was in BVS. That wasn't the Batman that was in the Justice League. It wasn't. It wasn't. So what are you doing? What are you doing? Like I said, I saw this and it just drove me crazy. You have a bunch of people throwing shade at critics. I mean, that's easy. It's no different than fucking Trump and the fake news. That's what you do when you say critics. So like you have no fucking idea what you're talking about. But the real thing that really kills me, the general audience thing. As if you have some insider knowledge on these characters that the general audience doesn't. No, the general audience knows who the fuck Batman is. They know who the fuck Wonder Woman is. The reason why Wonder Woman is the highest grossing film domestically in the DCEU, because they nailed the character. They nailed her characterization. The only one they've done. The only reason why. What are you talking about? I don't understand this. They don't know how violent the... Yo. Violence isn't the reason why those characters... Violence isn't the reason why we love those characters. It's not. Violence isn't the reason why I love Batman. No, is it fun playing the Arkham game? Oh, hell yeah, it is. That's the core of the character. So many of you guys don't understand that. I had this argument with Deadpool. It's like, oh no, Deadpool had to be R-rated. No, it didn't. Take out the violence. The over-the-top violence. I don't think you guys realize how violent PG-13 movies can be. They can be pretty fucking violent, alright? You tone down the violence just a smidge. Take out the sex scenes, which you don't need that to make Deadpool. You still have a good movie. You still have a good movie. There are plenty of comic books out there that have PG-13 Deadpool, and it's still Deadpool. It still works. Would you like to see an R-rated Deadpool? Of course, yeah, that's great. Yeah, I have no problem with that. I have no problem seeing an R-rated Deadpool. But the problem I have is when you start saying that it has to be R-rated. That's bullshit. That's bullshit. If you need R-rated stuff, go read R-rated comic books. There are plenty of them out there. Plenty of them out there. You don't need to be R-rated when it comes to these things. These characters are always meant for the general audience. They were meant for kids. You know? You can't make a fucking R-rated BVS and expect little kids to be out here dressed like Batman from BVS. It's not gonna fucking work. It's not gonna happen. Because you know why? That kid never saw it because his parents weren't gonna go see it. Because that's how this fucking works. Comic books are supposed to be inclusive. And as soon as you start saying, oh, well, no, I need the Justice League. Out of all characters to be I need the Justice League to be dark and gritty. The fuck is wrong with you? When I think Justice League, I don't think dark and gritty. That's not what I think. That's not what they're supposed to be. It was never meant to be that way. Can we make little side stories and deconstruct our heroes and do that kind of stuff? Yeah, that'll be great. That's fine. But if you want to make films in which when you make the first ever, appearance of Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman in a film, and you make it R-rated, what the fuck were you thinking? That doesn't make any fucking sense. That's not what people wanted. I didn't wait 30 fucking years for an R-rated Batman, Superman, or Wonder Woman movie. I didn't wait 30 fucking years for that shit. The fuck's wrong with you people, man? This is fucking stupid. So stupid, man. I'm tired of this shit. So tired of this. I get it. People like what they like, and it's fine. But like, come on, man. These characters were meant for everybody. This to me is no different than those dude bros who sit there and try to shut women out of and minorities out of comics and push them out. Like, this is the same fucking shit, man. It's fucking stupid, man. Like, one of the things I have has become a tradition to me, and I'm doing it again this year. My girlfriend's nephew loves Star Wars. So the last 2 years, and it's about to be the third year in a row, the three of us go, and I take him to an IMAX theater to watch Star Wars. I couldn't do that if it was R-rated. His mom wouldn't let me take him. That's not gonna fucking... And you know what? I wouldn't want to take him then. Because it's not for him. But because they're PG-13, I can take him and I can see his face and his joy when he watches that stuff. That's the thing. That's the thing that makes me happy. When I go to a Marvel film and I'm sitting there and I'm enjoying it, and there's some little kid who has the same look in his face that I had when I was a little kid, that's how I know it's good. That's how I know it works. That's what this is supposed to be about. Y'all need to stop being fucking assholes, man. This shit is driving me fucking crazy, man. I get the fuck out of here with this shit. Again, make sure you guys subscribe. MTR Network. I'm gonna be back with some more lighthearted stuff soon, but I saw this shit and it just drove me fucking crazy, man. People just have no fucking idea what they're talking about. Being still or throwing shit. The other day I literally saw somebody who was sitting there trying to put the regulars in place, and they had the audacity to sit there and reveal their age, and they were fucking 20. Talking about some, man, if you weren't, basically try to hit that if you weren't shooting with me in the gym type shit. Like, if you didn't sit through, the Fantastic Four movies and the X-Men movies in the early 2000s, then you really can't be talking about what should happen with the characters. Motherfucker, are you serious right now? You first of all, you were 6 years old at that point. You didn't even, like, this person didn't even mention Blade. Didn't even mention Blade, because they weren't even born at that point. They weren't even born for fucking Blade, right? Like, you can't talk about this shit if you didn't grow up on fucking Christopher Reeve's Superman. If you don't know Linda Carter's Wonder Woman. Shit, if you didn't grow up with them shitty ass fucking Captain America movies where he had the fucking Party City plastic shield, you have no right to be sitting here trying to nerd check anybody because, well, I grew up and I watched the shitty Fantastic Four movie, and so I know the characters and you don't. The fuck? You probably didn't even know about Roger Corman's 1990 Fantastic Four movie that was never released. You probably don't even know about that shit. But you over here, 20 years old, trying to tell people, well, this is what the real characters are. You don't know. You clearly don't know. You gotta just shut the fuck up, man. We getting out of here. Like I said, we're gonna have some stuff coming out soon on the channel. Make sure you subscribe. I'm just so fucking fed up right now, man. It's fucking bullshit. I'm complete fucking bullshit. You need to fucking chill. God damn it, man. Anyway, we out.